And they're away. And it's no double jumping, and straight away Ivanen leads with Rodevold second. Vesely already trying to get up the inside of Schweitzer in third. But it is go in row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Vesely immediately kind of block checks Schweitzer, then gets a pink from Legel. So Schweitzer, the big lane, drops to 5. So it's 1 from 2, from 4. It's the 3 MCDs that have gone off. It's Ivanen leading from Rodevold, and then we have Vesely, and this is not a massive surprise. These three have been quicker. Well, in fact, Rodevold and Vesely were quicker. We never saw how fast Ivanen could go until the semi-final because he had all sorts of technical issues. And they all spin round, and the Turkish manufacturer with the 3 leaders, much as we saw a sweep by Elko in the 2-wheel drive, it looks like, barring reliability, we're going to see a sweep from MCD, and up the backside there was Rodevold just tickling the backside of Ivanen's car. And they're now coming down in order. Schweitzer's got himself back into 4th place, local man with the Elcon, but it's an MCD trio. Don't forget, Dario Vesely, the third of those 3 cars, is your double European champion for the last 2 events. And Schweitzer now catching up as Ivanen breaks away. So Ivanen's got a slight break. And Schweitzer now is on the back of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th battle. We're looking to go round now. The car with the main yellow side, that is Rodevold from Germany. Behind him is Vesely with the classic blue and orange colours of the Croatian. And then behind them, probably may outshot slightly, is the orange and yellow Patrick Schweizer. Now Vesely's got inside Rodevold. This is significant because over a lap, no, he hasn't. They're fighting back left and right, and that was a 2-corner recovery because over a lap, I would have to say that the fastest man we've seen has been Vesely, not over a distance. He's had problems keeping it on the island, but what is happening now is this Rodevold and Vesely battle as we enter the 3rd minute is letting Ivanen break away at the moment. So Ivanen breaking away. The 2nd, 3rd and 4th are nailed together. You can see on that shot, that's Ivanen disappearing in the distance and into the first corner, whereas these 3 now turn on the first corner up past the main straight. So again, they come round, it tries to watch all 3 of these cars. Schweitzer now trying to keep up with them. And upside down in the back is the 0. So Ivanen now has got away. He's got a lead of 1.7 seconds. They fly over the top corner. And the car you can see there is Rodevold in 2nd with Vesely right behind him and coming onto the paved section. Ivanen's lead. He's lost a little bit of this. Oh, and Rodevold faced the wrong way. Rodevold got a horrendous skew there and went back faced the way he came in. That's freed up Vesely now. Schweitzer well got through. So Rodevold with a very small error jumped from 2nd to 4th. And Ivanen still leads. So Ivanen that time round 38.4. Rodevold 38.4. Sorry, Vesely 38.4, Schweitzer 38.7, Rodevold 41. So the big loser there is Rodevold. Now the real question is, now Vesely's released from the traffic, can he begin to rail in Pekko Ivanen? There is Ivanen just going on the exit of the King Cobra hairpin. As you saw, Ivanen will hop up. So Ivanen's more than the length of the... Oh, he's lost some time there. So it's interesting. Schweitzer now is beginning to catch up Vesely. And they're disappearing in the distance. Ivanen that time round. 37.9. Fastest lap we've seen for a long time. 37. 38.6 for Vesely. So Ivanen using his ground speed. Vesely also chasing. So the battle now is 3rd and 4th. There. So drop back 1 for the green and yellow car. So the orange and yellow car of Schweitzer. The Elcon trying to hold back the hordes of MCDs. And Rodevold, this is all just going horribly wrong for him. He's sitting there thinking, if only I could get it, but he's just thrown that one down as well. So 2 errors in the same corner has kind of put that off. Right, let's go and have a quick look at Ivanen in the lead, the green car number 1. 2nd place for Vesely. That time around, he lost another 6/10. So it looks like Ivanen is really found the pace to get away. He's going to put a lap on Riesbeck in a second. Riesbeck lets him through. Lost a little bit of time in doing that. They've already lapped the 8 car of Dias, and Manuel Clapper, the Austrian, didn't make the start, didn't make the first lap anyway. Now, at the moment, Ivanen who led from pole last year, but then quickly fell back under the attentions of Valentin Persia and Dario Vaselli, is leading away. At this point, you think you want to start going to fuel conservation. You want to lift and coast if that's something you can do with these cars. You want to just, let's ease back my fuel consumption. Let's see what I can have. Let's get round the middle section of the race. 5 minutes down, 25 to go. Vaselli, though, needs to chase like the wind as such. Still in third is Schweitzer. Still in fourth is Rodevald, who's made a difficult start. Even come round again. He gained another 8/10 last lap, by the way. Coming to another lap. Vaselli at the moment has no response to his speed. And Evenen is a 37.7, the fastest lap we've seen. So far, well, I think probably the whole event, but certainly today, the fastest lap we've seen. Vaselli did 38.3. So Vaselli's not hanging about. The problem he's got is that Evenen's absolutely going like the wind. And the young Finn certainly putting in a particularly confident start to this race. But of course, as we've seen, there's 23 minutes still to go. We drop back to third and fourth. They're back together again. Schweitzer in the orange number 3, orange and yellow, and then he's got Rodevald behind. So Rodevald now trying to make up for a couple of mistakes, get back into third place. Even in 37.5, even faster. 37.6 for Vaselli. Some cracking times being put down by the lead too. Teammates, of course. Schweitzer now, he's got Rodevald behind him as well. Now Rodevald was by far the most consistent in qualifying. Not necessarily the fastest, but which is why he was the top qualifier. The next question really is, what happens to him next? He's going up the inside. Oh, Schweitzer. This is the battle for third. First and second are away at the moment. They're both 4 wheels down. Last lap around was actually a gain of 8/10 of a second by Vaselli, as he turned a 37.5, so the fastest lap we've seen, a 37.55. And Evenen being held up by traffic at the moment, so the lead's coming down. No real problem, but he got held up and lost a little bit more of the lead. As we watch the battle, though, for third and fourth between Schweitzer and Rodevald. Patrick Schweitzer from Austria, double European champion here in 2015. And Rodevald, who won the short course invitational event when it was an invitational 2 years ago in France, and I think was runner-up in this championship last year, when from nowhere, and he was going to block past him, and had to wait. He was blocked past him, had to wait. It was quite a severe little call from the ref, I thought. Last time round, Evenen lost 1.9 seconds. We saw where that happened. That happened in a traffic issue. And the leads changed. The leads changed. Ash, car 4 underneath you. Off camera, has been a problem, and Vaselli's got into the lead. So Vaselli now leads from Evenen. I looked up, couldn't see him. So Vaselli now leads from Evenen. That Evenen was a 41, so it wasn't a disaster, but something minor happened. Perhaps a roll. Serafin gets out the way of Vaselli, and Evenen now fights on. And Evenen now look at the inside of Vaselli. So it's a battle royal joined. These are your leaders, first and second, as we come now with 9 minutes. So what looks very simple for Evenen is, he's going to have to wait. He's going to have to wait. He's going to have to wait. He's what he's going to do. He has waited. Now he's going to wait some more and let Vaselli back through again. Serafin in the way. There's back markers, and he does. He lets him through again. Very sporting by Pecco there. He kind of tipped Vaselli. Now the big winner out of that, of course, was Schweitzer and Rodevald, who had gained a few seconds. They both went round there. So that lap was a 42 and a 42. So there'll be a 3-second gain. But Vaselli now leads. The Croatian leads the early leader. Pecco Evenen had a problem, 3-second problem off camera. May well catch it in the TV show on one of the mini cameras. They're covering a lot more of the race than we can. And now Evenen gets a drive up the inside of the King Cobra Coa, looking to get the inside, but no, the problem is that Vaselli's positioning his car really, really well, and that was it. So Evenen goes up and through, so Evenen takes the lead again now. Vaselli. Oh, now it's Vaselli has to catch him. Now these two, when they're actually Can Evener now break away? My guess is possibly not, because Vaselli was held up initially, and now he's got the chance of following. They've power down the main straight and up and over the RC Models double and come through the sweeping downhill. It's Vaselli, the wily double European champion in the orange and blue car, the 4 car, who's following the young 15-year-old, I think 15, probably to get it wrong, Pekka Evenen from Finland, who qualified on pole last year, and then it all went wrong. This time, well, it's not been smooth sailing because he was leading by 3 or 4 seconds and got pegged back, but now he's back ahead by, as you can see, a couple of bounces at most. Third place still is now Rodevolds. It's 1, 2, 3 for MCD. He's got past Schweitzer, and that time round it was a little gain, 3/10 for Evening, but it's actually sometimes it's very, very hard to get very close to these cars because you actually start, if you're fast in different places, you'll be braking in different places, and you'll find yourself losing time of being too close. You can kind of keep a consistent half second. Getting close, and that gets very difficult. About to go past the 5 car, Thomas Lagos. They're already about to overtake lap 4th place. Sorry, about to lap 5th place. So the top 4 are in an absolute class of their own, and they're just lap 5th place. And Vaselli came off a bit worse that. And it's a nice little lead now that Evening has. He's picked up another 3 or 4 tenths on that lap. And his lead has eased out to about 8 tenths of a second. Now Vaselli is not going to want to see this creeping 3 tenths because it gets more and more difficult. So he's going to have to start throwing it a little bit more effort in, trying to eke that back. So if he is any sort of minor mistake, he's there to take advantage of it. And now he's back close again. So go over the infield double-double. The pressure is going to tell on Pekka Evening at some point. At some point he's going to have a realisation I could win the European Championship there. And how he reacts to it is going to be majorly telling. We know that Vaselli is used to this. He's won the last 2. He's won 3 overall. He's been in more European Championships finals than I've had hot dinners recently. So he's not going to get fazed by the pressure. Evening, on the other hand, he's trying to put an old head on very young shoulders. And he's got tremendous pressure from Vaselli at the moment as they complete another lap, nose to tail. All green, number 1, Pekka Evening from Finland. Orange and blue, up and over the bridge. It's the Croatian, reigning European champion at this class. And of course, the last 2 years he's won. He won in the destroyed lunar landscape of France, and the complete opposite, the absolutely solid as a rock AstroTurf of Neen Valley. Now he's got the point where he's in pieces in air, and he can almost certainly land on Evening. These two been locked together now for 5 or 6 laps. Coming through the King Cobra hairpin again, a little bit around, and Vaselli got a good turn there. He's now at the inside. Not sure he can make it work. And Evening was off the track there, waits a little bit so he doesn't gain anything. And they come over the playground. Oh, they've hit each other again. And now this could be excellent news for Schweitzer and for Rodeveld. And Rodeveld's about to go there. And Rodeveld went on both of them. So Rodeveld takes the lead after accident when they had to wait. So Rodeveld now leads in the 2 car. It's Evening second. And it's Vaselli third. So suddenly, coming from nowhere, as Vaselli gets drive up the inside and picks up the 2nd place. So it's now Vaselli in 2nd, Evening in 3rd, and Rodeveld leading. That little half mistake. Evening had to wait while Vaselli was pointing at the boondocks, and now Rodevold has come back from a poor start and picks up the lead again. So Sven, the German, as these two have battled and held each other up. Schwein's just out of interest. He's only about 4 seconds back. But the 3 MCD drivers are driving as almost a traffic jam of cars at the front here. They're right together. They are as close as they can be. They're almost occupying the same space on the track, which is why they're bumping into each other. And Vaselli looks to throw it up the inside of Rodevold. Even temporary, perhaps he's going to take a watching brief. He's dropped back a little bit. Because there's every chance that these two will make the same mistake that Vaselli and Evening made and come together. But Rodeveld leads now in the brightly coloured car with the purple tail. Car number 2 sliding round the hairpin on the paved section and then into the infield loop before they come into the King Cobra hairpin. And Vaselli touches him again. And that's a chance. He just touched him. And of course, if he turned him round at that point, Evening will be able to sneak past both of them, whereas Vaselli would have had to wait. So Germany from Croatia from Finland. And the 3 cars putting on a masterclass of close formation driving. It's more like watching the Red Arrows than watching a large-scale off-road event as they go through in line astern. Rodeveld not really broken anyone, even just dropped off a little bit off the back. Nothing to worry about, Tanya, if you're watching, but he's just giving himself a little bit of space with Circus bit over that jump. And obviously, because we are looking at all three, we're going to be focusing most on Vesely at the moment, because he'll either go forward or go back as they come round again. Oh, Vesely's made a mistake, and he even gets him to second, I think. Oh, does he? Yes. No. And he's turned. No. Well, that's a great bit of move there for Rodevald, because in the confusion between Vesely and Evening, Rodevald got himself away again. So Rodevald now crosses the line. He's picked up himself a nice little lead there. 37.3, the fastest lap he's done. And his lead now is about 2.4 seconds from Vesely, from Evening. And we have just hit halfway. So the second half is as good as the first half. This could become a classic. But Rodevald now has a lead. Can he build it? Vesely, without the pressure of being constantly hassled by Evening. I think, oh, no, Rodevald's off the track. Rodevald's just blown his entire lead he got there. So Rodevald now, you'll see him just ahead of Vesely. And that's first and second back together. So Rodevald was sitting pretty with a 2.5 second lead, 2.5 second lead, and he just threw it off on the double-double there. So the 1-2 are in the same frame. And I can tell you now, 3's not too far about, though. Evening has been slightly dropped. The gap between them now is up to exactly a second between Vesely and Evening. Now, whether he's just holding fire and holding station and thinking about what happens next, but Vesely is on maximum attack. But Rodevald, after that poor start, seems to have discovered the ground speed he didn't have, and despite blowing it at this point last lap, has managed to get himself together with the 2 car, the yellow. Oh, no, he's lost. He's fallen off the Samba step down and drops to third. He kind of pirouetted around and off they go again. And now it's Vesely from Evening from the pirouetting Rodevald, first to third in one corner. And so Vesely now, for the first time, has clear air as a lead. He's had a slight lead, never clear air as a lead. Rodevald and Evening now are at it like bats. I don't know how bats are at it. But Vesely at last now is seeing some clean air, and perhaps a chance if Evening and Rodevald can hold each other up to get back. But Evening certainly doesn't. I would say at the moment, Evening has the least. Oh, and Evening's gone over. Evening's gone over. He's put back on well by the marshal, but he's dropped back to third. And Rodevald's broken down. We've lost. No, we haven't. No, Rodevald's waiting. Rodevald thought he was responsible for the accident of Evening, so he waited there. So Vesely now has a lead of 5 seconds. I'm sure we've got some replays now, haven't we? There's been a lot going on, but the key thing is Vesely has been the major winner out of that. And he's pulled out a several second lead as these two hit each other again in their battle for second. Vesely is out by 4.7 seconds. Evening is in second, and Rodevald is in third. And it's been basically because no one's had a chance to settle because they've had to constantly fight with the other two members of the triumvirate. Evening now in second. Vesely leading. And that time round, he lost another 0.2 of a second. Let's see the key parts. And this is coming together. And this is where Evening he got slightly in together with Rodevald. So Rodevald then came round here and he actually waited. He went over here, was told to wait for Evening. And that's what I thought he'd broken down, but actually he was doing the decent thing and waiting. Now, Evening is in second and on camera and has to try and catch up the several seconds that he's lost. He goes over the playground section down the Samba step to Vesely. Now, of course, Rodevald, who was leading, then fell off the step and just did a pirouette round, let the two of them through. That time round, both Vesely and Evening did 37.7s. Whereas Rodevald did a 38.6. So if Evening can put a little bit of a gap between himself and Rodevald, you probably think that he can then think about doing what he did at the start of the race, which was gapping Vesely. It's easier said than done, though, because Rodevald is not slow, is not giving up. And every single bump is a potential disaster as Rysbeck stops and lets the second and third people pass. That's another lap down. That lap was a 37.8 for Vesely. Whereas for Evening, it is a 38 flat. So he's lost another 1/10 of a second there. And a 37.8 for Rodevald. So it is now, with 11 minutes to go, looking a little bit more like Vesely's got a chance. I'll just tell you now off camera, he was on 2 wheels and nearly rolled. So he's not easing back at all. Evening. Into the double-double. The gap is was the last lap 5.1 seconds. Another lap has been completed by Vesely and he's completed in 37.8. He's certainly not slowing down. Sorry, 41.1. So that was a bad lap. I thought so. So actually, Vasily lost 3 seconds in that lap. I saw him on 2 wheels. I think that may be in a recovery. And his lead has been slashed from 5 seconds to 1.9. So minor error on the track. Didn't quite see it. Saw the end of it, thought it was fine, but obviously that was the end of it. He already had a problem, and Vasily makes another minor mistake and another problem, and suddenly he's been caught back up again. And so Evening can see him in the corner of his eye as he drives along the double-double. Vasily's only just ahead, and then we see Vasily popping up and over the hill, over the bridge as Evening follows him round. So suddenly they're back together again as, and Rodoval makes the same mistakes made before and falls over the step up. So Evening now, that time round, 38.4, 37.9, even puts another half second up. Can Pecco, the young Finn, pick off the Croatian master that is Dario Vasily, the man who has won the championship the last 2 years? He was cruising, one little mistake, and now suddenly Eden's got the bit between his teeth again. And the gap was just 1.4 seconds last time round. It looks less than it now. It's getting close as it can be without them getting in each other's way. Vasily leads. They're bumping up and over. So let's see if we can get both cars in shot, Ash, as they come round. Next time round, there is Vasily, and there is Even, and the gap has changed to 1.8 seconds, so a slight advantage for Vasily. Oh, 5 cars crashed. I thought it was so the 5 car rejoined the track, almost in front of them, almost takes Rodoval off. So Vasily's settled himself down again, but there are some problems coming in that there are 2 cars that need to be lapped in a second, and that is Alan Sarafan and the 9 car of Juni Hiltunen. So the lead for Vasily, and that was a good couple of corners there for Even, as Sarafan goes right off the track and takes out our camera completely. So we're camera down. I think it's okay though, but we've lost the camera. So that looked good on the TV show. So Even now, he's got, as Vasily goes past the 9, Sarafan does something ridiculous, and Hilton lets him go. So the lap distance now is 1.3 seconds last time around. They seem to have broken Rodoval, so it does seem it's going to be Vasily or Even, and with 8 minutes to go is going to win this. They fly over again that time around. It was a gap of 1.8 seconds. So Evenen lost 3/10 the last lap. We're now another lap and still trying to chase down Vasily. He's in both there. There's Vasily, there's Evenen. They're really pretty damn close. Vasily that time round was a 37.5. Both did 37.5 second laps. Amazing. They fly over the double, the RC double. RC Models double. I just say, I think that Vasily's just a little bit further ahead, but there's 7 minutes to go. Just a little bit, well, there's Vasily again, just a little bit wide for the 2 shot there. But Vasily lost his drive there. So Vasily lost a huge drive, and will Ivan catch him up? Even right behind him now. Pecco made the most of just a tiny error by Vasily. Lost drive on the first part of the internal double, and now they're right nose to tail with just 6 minutes and 55 seconds to go. And that lap round was a gain of about 0.8 of a second. That error was only 0.8 of a second. And interestingly, I think Even backed out of an attack right at the end of that. But the gap comes down to, you see, to less than a second. Even now can see Vasily. Vasily's less than a quarter of an error behind now as they come around the infield double. The infield loop, sorry. And then they're going to turn into the King Cobra and then onto the infield double. The double-double. This is where it went slightly wrong for Vasily before. Rodoval is still there. He's back by about 4 seconds from Evenen. But the 2 fighters at the front are right together. The green car, the 1 car, that's the pole man, Pekko Evenen from Finland. The 4 car, starting surprisingly far back after a rough semi. That's the reigning champion, Dario Vasily of Croatia. And he's had a good couple of calls. He is, I would say, on the main straight, on the fast bits, you'd have to say that Vasily is better. And, Evenen's got a problem. I think Evenen's got a problem. I think Evenen has a problem. I'm thinking, I don't want to spook him, but I think he's got an issue on his front left. It's looked odd when I was looking at it coming towards me. It's not affecting him so far, so perhaps it's just something that isn't too much of a problem. But I'm worrying about the front left could just be he's got a dirt or he's clicked at the wheel. It looked like it was coming off the rim, but I do think there's a problem in the front left, but I could be wrong on Evenen's car. It might be an optical illusion, but when he comes down to this hairpin on the section, look at the inner part of the front left. It looks wrong. I'm sure there's a problem with the gluing of the inside of the front left. It's not necessarily all off. It might be slightly off. So Evenen's struggling, I think, with a tyre issue. It's not slowing him down, though, so it just looks odd. But he's still gaining on Vesely with about 5 minutes to go. Now, will that tyre be able to stand the pressure of being gripped around? I think it's slightly off on one inner layer. And of course the problem is once they come off they get worse, and Evenen now didn't really gain on that one. It looks wrong. The inside rim of that front left looks wrong. It's also, I think it's expanding too much under power, but Evenen's driving round it. I mean, he's probably only losing like 5% of grip on the front end, and he's right behind just in two wheels. He goes over the level. So even the one car, I think, is in tyre trouble, but possibly not terminal tyre trouble. But it does slow him down around that first corner. So that tap round 37.8, 37.8. They're within 400. Vesely goes very wide, loses a bit of drive. Evenen coming down the hill now. Rodefold, so you know, is 4.5, 5 seconds back from these two. Evenen now drives up through the inner circle. Looks like whatever problem with the tyre isn't slowing him down. Vesely is just about ahead. As you can see now, they are nailed together with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. At this point, I'm sure Tara is probably at this point not watching. She's behind the sofa, if they have sofas in Finland, behind the wooden furniture. And again, if we go down the main straight around the first corner, Vesely stretches the lead. Evenen will get closer again during the twisty parts. And they come down, and Vesely lost a bit of drive then. Evenen's right behind him on the inside. Can he put a mountain chance? Ellen Sarafan's right in the way again, and Sarafan, gets in the way of Evenen. Dear, oh dear, it wasn't deliberate, but Sarafan needs to look at where he's going, re-emerged in the track, and probably delayed Evenen by a second or so. One of those things, it's called the luck of the draw. Vesely saw it, avoided it. Sarafan then moved across the track. So that means the lead now has gone up to exactly a second, was lost by that, and the lead moves up to 1.6 seconds. And the time to make that up is 3 minutes. Can Evenen find the drive to get up those next few tenths? He's going to have to throw caution to the wind, and there's still the spectre. Don't forget, there is the spectre of someone, anyone, or everyone running out of fuel. As they enter the last 3 minutes, and it was a very good corner there by Evenen. He just drove beautifully off the side of the double-double. That's a bit where he's quicker. And now he comes under. I think he's gained a little bit he lost. That time round was a 37.4. No, they both did 37.4s, which is very, very, very fast indeed. They fly together over the hill. Vesely, again, he stretched the lead as he does over the faster parts of the track, and then in the twisty bits he just eases back together again for Evenen. The cars or the drivers set slightly differently to what they like to do. Even on two wheels he's pushing so hard to try and catch up. Rodevold's challenge has faded, and it's now between Vesely and Evenen with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go. Now there's more traffic, and the traffic has, again, got in the way slightly of Evenen. I think it also got in the way of Vesely. That time round, 37.1, 6.9, so one of the fastest lap we've seen from Vesely. He's finding the speed at the right time as the person who's overtaken decided to throw himself into the boondocks. And Vesely just beginning to ease out. He's got 1 minute and 37 to go. They've got this one and two more as something flew off, I think, Pecco's car. I don't know, he went over something that flew off his car. Underneath the bridge, and Vesely just seemed to be getting the better of Evenen's machine. So let's move to Vesely, Ash, because it's going to be something about him making a mistake now that will actually stop him becoming the European champion. And he's dropping Evenen, who I do think is suffering with a slight technical issue. So Evenen dropping back in second place. Vesely looking to make it 3 European champions in a row, incredibly hardly fought in a fantastic final. He's got this lap and one more, as Evenen is struggling with, I think, a problem on his front left. But Vesely comes up and over, turning round, looking to He's got to get past Riesbeck, and certainly he's now easing out. The challenge for Evening is dropping away, and unless Vaselli makes a mistake on this, which will be the last lap, as we wait to see if Vaselli can make it 3 European Championships in a row, and one which he's won from the front with pace, not by anything else, but also can he finish the lap? It's all about the fuel, and Riesbeck's been completely dropped by these two, so I'm wondering if he's realising he's in fuel trouble and is easing back. Vaselli, a few more corners to go. He's got a kind of wandering Patrick Schweitzer in front of him, and he lapped Schweitzer, who was running in fourth. He's lapped all the way to fourth. Vaselli, a few more corners. Can he keep will the engine carry on running? Vaselli looks like he's going to make it 3 European Championships in a row. And the final, and he comes under, and Vaselli wins. Vaselli makes it 3 in a row. It's going to be Evening for second. Very close, but in the end, I think a slight technical issue has taken Evening out of the running for that, and a fantastic final. I've not seen one that close in any class for many a year, so you can't really argue about that at all. So, and well, there we are. So, what a great victory that was. So I should now go and see if I can see young Mr. Vaselli. 30 minutes of very close racing. I think at the end, the long we had a couple of times we got a 4 or 5 second gap. They lost it, they gap, they came back again. But it's a triple European Championship for Vaselli. Rudderfold got third. And Dario will be a happy man today. There's Vaselli. And I'm just having a quick look at the Evening car. And yeah, absolutely, the Evening car had shed the tyre had come off the inside of the rim, as I thought it had done. So that was a tyre issue on that car. Let me gather the Dario, to take you over here to talk to you. Dario, fantastic performance, triple European champion in a row, but that was a hard race.
Yes, it was very hard, but I still can't believe that I make three times in a row, so it's fantastic feeling, and I want to congratulate all the guys in the final because for the fantastic fight. So what can I say? I'm very thankful for my team and to my also father and to my family, to everybody, because this feeling is amazing.
Started fourth, then you were third, second, first, second. How did you feel during the race? Did you always think you could win it, or was there a point where you thought, no, it's gone?
I really don't know what was in my head, so I was just trying to drive it calm and finish with the best possible way. So, and this is the best possible way. So, thank you very much.
Very fantastic! Congratulations, triple European champion, fantastic stuff. Well done. Let's see if I can just grab a quick word with Pekko. Your mum's watching. Come on, Pekko, come this way. Come this way. Pekko, that was a fantastic performance. So close. How do you feel?
Good. 2 places so good. Nothing to say.
Towards the end, you had a problem. Your tyre came away from the wheel. Was that affecting you badly?
No, not so much.
And we don't say anything to your mum. You can say it in Finnish.
Thank you for helping and supporting me.
Brilliant. Thanks, Pekko. Good stuff. Second place man, Pekko.